Good morning, everyone. Call this meeting of the Tourist Development Council to order. Today is August 9th at 9 a.m. And who wants to do the invocation? Anyone? Anyone? No? Okay, I guess it's me. Dear Lord, thank you for another beautiful day in paradise, although it might be just a touch humid out there. But no complaints. We love our town. We love our county. And please watch over us as we try to make the best decisions for the purposes of our citizens and for the beautiful environment that you have given us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Oh, okay. What do I need to do?
Sorry.
I mean, I have it, but
Okay.
I just call these folks'
Just call
names.
their names.
Okay, so present today, Chair Holly Davis, Mike Engels, Vice Chair, Mike Shoemaker, and Michael Menke.
Thank you. Looking for a motion for approval of agenda.
Motion moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any board comment? You have the giggles.
I
Okay.
guess.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That is a vote, guys. We need to check bylaws.
Okay.
Denise, probably.
Also, and is Desai coming?
He said he was.
He said he was.
Well, we can ask him for his vote when he gets here on those two items. Looking for a motion on approval of minutes.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I heard Michael and Mike, first and second.
The girls are gone.
Any board comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Open to the public. Would anyone like to address the board? 3 minutes at the mic. Interpretive dance is always appreciated.
Good morning, everyone.
We are expecting dancing. Interpretive
You
dance.
won't get it from me.
Okay.
Okay, so, small thing, last meeting, I just wanted to clear something up. You, suggested, I'm sure it was a mistake, that, you were referring to my presentation. So you said this at the last meeting, it was about my presentation at the meeting before, concerning Outcoast Magazine. I did not claim that the photo that I showed was from their website.
Okay.
I only mentioned that there were three named people. I named them, well, they're kind of their fake names, but they're stage names, we'll call them. I mentioned them. I did not mention, and in fact, I even mentioned that I went to YouTube after I got those names from Outcoast Magazine. So I just wanted to clear that up.
Thank you.
The other thing is, and I forget it, Rachel was her name. Very nice lady, apparently. Seems very nice. But I thought with you guys being the customer of Outcoast Magazine, it was a little odd that she would come up here and chide you. Might have been Cindy or Mike. Somebody made a comment at one point trying to diffuse the situation, trying to kind of make it better for her. And they made a comment, they said, what goes on behind closed doors is none of my business. Very correct statement. And yet she comes up here and says, no, that's not good enough. I don't accept that. What we do has to be out in front of everyone's face, essentially. I'm paraphrasing. Okay, so I just thought that was a little odd. I come up here and complain, I'm a taxpayer. Some of you're a customer too. Shouldn't be, if she was your customer, it could be the other way around. All right, she could complain, but I just think that's a little odd. Oh, and by the way, do you know who contacted her and said, hey, you ought to come up here? And have a talk. Okay, I
Whenever
know
you're
you
done.
can't respond, so, so that's pretty much it. I appreciate the time.
Dr. Desai,
Yes.
how do you vote on the agenda and minutes? We need you for quorum.
Sorry. I'm here.
How do you vote on agenda?
I approve.
Okay, and how do you vote on the minutes from the last meeting?
Approve.
Thank you. Okay, any other open to the public?
Oh, another one.
Hi, good morning, TDC members. I'm glad I made it on time. My name is John Labriola, and I wasn't here at the last meeting, but I did watch the video, and I was actually kind of flabbergasted at a presentation by the president of the Outcoast magazine, the LGBT travel magazine that Citrus County contracts with to advertise Citrus County as a homosexual type of destination. And actually, I was flabbergasted not just by her presentation, but by the reaction of this board. She came to you, somebody who receives money from the county, and berated this board for, well, first of all, she demanded that you continue giving her taxpayer dollars, or, I mean, somebody will say hotel tax dollars, but still county money, and then proceeded to berate this board for, I guess, not using woke enough language, saying that, you know, one of the board members said something like, that's what happens behind closed doors is their business, and she actually said, no, it's not, you know, what happens behind closed doors, it needs to be your business, which goes completely contrary to what some one or a couple members of this board have said, that you know, it's none of our business and that's why we're doing this. No, the person you're advertising with tells you that it needs to be everybody's business what happens behind closed doors, and you all just sat there and took it. And the member, I guess she's not here, who you know, who she was quoting, didn't even have the self-respect to say, hey, to push back even a little bit and say, hey, you know, I object to that. You're coming here to this board demanding that we continue paying you, and you're berating us for saying that what happens behind closed doors is people's private business. So I'm sorry that member isn't here to say anything, but she was too busy, you know, looking at her text messages, and oh my gosh, I got a text message wishing me a happy birthday from Representative Villarakas instead of responding to what had just happened here, which was outrageous. Anyway, I think it's further proof that this board needs to re-examine that contract and say, no more money to people that come here, not only demand more money from us, but then proceed to berate us because we're not using woke enough language. And shame on all of you for not pushing back. Shame on all of you. Thank you.
Would anybody like to respond?
Don't deserve it.
All right, moving on. Presentations.
Okay, I think our first presentation is from Ann Witteen with RDS.
Good morning. My name's Ann
You have
Mateen.
no
I'm
idea
a
how much I appreciate you. I've been begging,
research data
I've been
services.
begging Doug Wright whenever he reads the proclamations to do interpretive dance, because the man cannot read proclamations to save his life.
All right. I'm very glad to be here with you guys today. So I'm going to talk about 2022, which is a long time ago, and 2023 to date. But 2022 is really important because it has a lot of bearing on what we're seeing now in 2023. So we wound up with 592,500 visitors staying in commercial lodging, with direct expenditures of $250 million and a total economic impact of $417 million. That those direct expenditures were up 20% over the year before and up 52% over 2018. So huge growth last year. And in terms of total county visitation. So including people staying in unpaid lodging with friends and relatives, et cetera, and day trippers. We had 1.6 million visitors in 2022 with direct expenditures of $302 million and a total economic impact, an all-time record of over $500 million. So that sets a foundation for talking about where we, so those commercial lodging visitors spent $27 million in state and local taxes, which is the 6% sales tax. And that is the equivalent of $413 per household in Citrus County. So I do have some updates to these numbers. We had to present this presentation last month. And at that point, it was too early to have June data, because what happens is on the first of each month, we start sending out occupancy and calling for occupancy from the lodging properties throughout the county for the previous month. So when we presented this presentation, it was too early in July for us to have a good outlook of June. So I'm going to give you some second quarter numbers as we go through, because I wanted you to have the latest information available. And we'll plug those numbers into the presentation and send them to Christina, and I know she'll share them with you, so that you don't have to necessarily catch everything that I say as I quickly, run through things. But so for the first quarter, we had 128,000 people staying in commercial lodging. For the second quarter, it was 165,200. That was down 4.5%, which seems concerning. And I want to point out that is still a 27.4% increase over where we were in 2019. So what we're seeing is a little bit of softness, and you are definitely not the only ones that we're seeing this little bit of softness through the summer. But that is compared to last year, where we were riding the high of that post-COVID pent-up demand surge. So we've been talking, and part of the reason that you've been so conservative is that we would eventually see a check or a moving back more to the normal trend line. And I think that is mostly what we're seeing. I think there are some concerns about the economy. I think heat has been a little bit of an issue. I heard that the scalloping season was going strong. So I think that this is a number that we had kind of expected to see. So in terms of economic impact, we were up 5% in first quarter. In second quarter, we are coming in at 69,100,700. So down 0.3%. And again, I want to point out kind of the more important number, which is that is still a 65.9% increase over where we were in 2019. So we are seeing real growth. And the impact of all the work that you've done to promote the area, this is, as I said, just sort of a check back to normal. So in terms of total economic impact, we were 103 million in the first quarter. In the second quarter, it's 115,204,700, which is also up down the 0.3% over last year, but up 65.9% over 2022. So what that all kind of means is that in 2022, every visitor left $704 of economic impact in the destination, so everybody who comes.
If you could pause for just 1 second.
Of course.
So back to the estimated number of visitors page, and you don't need to back up, but on the slides, but 19 to 23 saw a 0.5% increase in visitors. And then the estimated direct expenditures over the same period of time was 37.2%, which means we're holding almost steady on visitors while getting a lot more economic impact.
Yes.
Doesn't feel that way to the residents of Crystal River, I gotta tell you. The numbers have not gone up substantially, but as far as I'm concerned, from a business perspective, from what I do for a living, that's the ideal situation. We have a limited capacity, we have limited product, and when there's high demand for the product, the prices have to go up.
Yes.
So some of that is obviously COVID-related inflation, but
And it's also who you're attracting.
yes.
Through COVID, we were getting people coming from a very narrow radius. They were staying for very short periods of time and weren't spending a ton of money. Now, as things have opened up, we're getting people coming from further away. European markets are starting to come back, although it's still slow. Those people stay longer and spend more money. So some of that is what we're seeing. But it is ideal. If you've attracted that visitor, you want them to stay the extra night. And so we're seeing some of that. We saw a decrease in party size and an increase in length of stay. Not a huge, but slight movement in both of those numbers for the second quarter. So in terms of occupancy, and this is, I know you also get STR numbers, these are our occupancy. The difference is STR concentrates on hotels and motels. And we get information from hotels and motels as well, but we're also talking to campgrounds and some people who are doing property management, that kind of thing. So we're trying to get a more complete and holistic picture of all of the inventory that's available. And so we have been seeing slight declines over 2023, but again, I'd like to point out that, and we'll get to a slide here in a little bit that talks about the licensed commercial lodging units. And so what you have to sell is getting bigger, which means that, you know, occupancy can be down and visitors can still be up, you know, just because you have more units to sell. So in June, we came in at 74%, which was a 2.9% decrease, but still up 17.6% over 2019, which brought us to second quarter being 76.7%, down 2.4%, but up 15.9% over 2019. And you have all of this. And again, all of that is in the context of last year where we saw occupancy up 4.5%. So as I said, we're seeing a little bit of softness, but it's not so much softness as sort of coming back to that normal trend line. More concerning, and I've been asking kind of everybody that I meet in the industry for a very long time post-COVID. We've been seeing big increases in average daily rates, and I keep asking people whether or not they're seeing pushback in rates, and the answer has been no. But we are starting to see some softening, and I am starting to hear some properties saying that that they're making rate concessions in order to fill rooms. So we're starting to see that rate, which has helped sustain resort taxes and economic impact. We're starting to see that rate come down just a little bit. So in June, we were 131.06, which was up 5.1%, which is still a big increase over last year and something, about where we kind of want to be, really. But up 18.2% over 2019, which rounded out the second quarter at 146.71, which was up 8.7%, or a 33.5% increase over 2019. So still good numbers, but a little bit softer in rate than we have been seeing. In fact, 2022 calendar year rate, the overall rates were up 9.4%, which was up 25.4% over 2019. So here are those numbers I referenced just a little bit ago. So we've seen huge stability this is coming from the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulations, and this is the licensed transient lodging units. It does not include campgrounds. So these are lower numbers than your total inventory, but this is the licensed units. So in 2023, we saw a bump up, and this was we pulled this record as of June 1st of 2023. So we saw an 8.3% increase and growth in the hotel market, and that's because of the Wood Spring Suites opening in April is part of the reason for that increase. But we're also seeing increase in the vacation rental market, and that has continued. So the latest report from August 1st puts that total number of licensed lodging units at 1,839, which isn't a big number, but that growth is all in the apartment vacation rental category. But looking at the news, it seems like you've got some more hotel inventory coming online, moving into the future. Hampton Inn broke ground, but isn't supposed to open until next year, and apparently there's a Home2 Suites as well. So we're going to continue to see some increases here in terms of the product. And so very quickly, and I mentioned that we saw this in second quarter as well, but a slight increase in length of stay in the first quarter and a little bit of rollback in party size. And still that nice increase in what people are spending. So looking forward.
Is this quarter over quarter numbers?
These are quarter over quarter numbers,
Okay.
Yes. Looking forward, and I can't really give you the same as I couldn't give you June, back when we pulled this report in July. I can't really give you July now. We just don't have enough information in. But I looked at what people were saying here in the latest occupancies that we've received. And what properties are telling us is that 22.2% are currently saying that their level of reservations are up compared to 2019. And 33.3% are saying that they are up compared to last year. Both of which are good numbers, down a little bit from where we were last year. So I want to use that to reiterate what I was saying earlier, is that yes, we're seeing some softness, but we're seeing some softness compared to this incredible banner year that we had last year. We've got 33.3% saying that their forward reservations are coming. This is 33.3% of properties telling us that their forward reservations are coming 30 days or less out. We've been hearing that the reservation window has been narrowing again a bit. And that seems to be people looking for good rates. It seems to be people being a little concerned about the economy. And it's cyclical anyway. But last year, that number was like 40%. So we're seeing a little bit of shortening of the reservation window as well, which means that properties really can't tell us what fall looks like. It's just still too far out in terms of reservations. But what they're saying is that it not raining so much, and scallop season, that things are looking good from those perspectives. Of course, the heat is a thing. So that's sort of a recap of where we were last year and how things are looking this year. Are there any questions?
It's good news.
It is, I mean, there is softness, but it's really important to take it in the context of the history and the trend line. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Was busy looking at that on paper and have lost where my agenda is. There we go. All right, director's report, destination update.
First? You are.
It's the numbers first.
Oh, it's the numbers first?
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm out of.
We didn't have that at the time of submittal.
Oh,
It's
that's
not
in the packet, I
It's
don't
not in
think.
the packet, it's up on the screen.
Okay, it's up on the screen. Excuse me. Yes, it's on that first. All right, so as Ann mentioned, we are down year over year by about 5.20%. Really, it's what we've been talking about, I think. There's nothing indicating that it's anything major. It could have been as small as a large group not coming in May, year over year at one of our properties. So nothing, I'm not panicked, and I don't think as a result of Ann's conversation, we should be worried about it either. You can see the fifth penny total capital reserve at 468. And then the year over year revenue to date, we are still up 6.64%. So really no surprises here. And it speaks for itself. And what's next? We have
It's
the
Alyssa next.
Alyssa?
My name's Alyssa, and I head up social media for Discover Crystal River. And I'm here to fill you in on what's been going on the last month. So, as I always do, I go through our accounts. So, on our Facebook, our main Facebook page, the big winner that this last month was a post that I did for Homosassa Springs Wildlife Park. For a fishing page, I actually did something a little different. I did a post specifically on Captain Tommy, and that did quite well. I kind of wrote up a little blurb about him and his fishing lineage, so that did well. And then on Instagram, the scallops always seem to do well. It was a cute little scallop kind of dancing, and I added some cute music, and that did well. So then. So there you go, the cute little, you got your dancing, right? And then we'll go next to comparing us against our competitors. And we still did well. We got on Instagram, we got 329 new followers. For the first time in about 6 months, we did not beat out Florida Historic Coast. They actually got more this month. Sorry about that. I knew it couldn't go on forever. We had a good run there, and hopefully next month we'll do better. And on Instagram, we had over 6,700 accounts engaged, which was a 203% increase. And accounts reached, we had a 168% increase. Facebook stayed steady. We got 660 new followers and 33,000 post engagement. So we did pretty well. And post reach is almost 500,000. And let's see, And then our stories, I always try to do anywhere from 3 to 5 stories a day. And I did 102 stories last month, and the views were over 56,000, and our best single day was a little over 1,000. And then I'm going to go into something a little bit different this month. I wanted to share with you some of our original posts that I've created for the different cities. I just want to make it clear that I put these in alphabetical order, not in preference of favoritism or anything like that. So every week, every month, I do original posts for every city that we promote. And these are basically our best performing, but a few I threw in there that are just my personal favorite. So on Facebook, Mike's Crystal River Water Sports did quite well. I did for Instagram, I did a post on the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge and Visitor Center. That did really well. And then for the Instagram story, I was in a fortuitous position at Three Sisters Springs, and I panned, and there was a little baby actually like churning. It was the cutest video. So I made that into a story, and that did quite well. We'll move on to Floral City. Thank you, Christina. I did a post on the Shamrock Inn. I always want to call it the Leprechaun Inn, but it is the Shamrock Inn. That did really well, and actually Regina reached out to me and was so happy and said that she had a lot of new customers from that. This really nice sunset shot, I was driving home. I saw that there was a nice sunset, and I drove to the lake and took that, and that did quite well. And then who doesn't love Ferris Groves? Did a little post when they opened up. That did well for Floral City. And these are just examples of what I do, but I try to mix it up and showcase what could be important to visitors when they come. So for Homosassa, this did really well. It was Homosassa Springs Wildlife Park post. Shelley's Seafood, which is so cute, that did well. And then this last shot for the Instagram story, it's just a photograph that I took of a cute little pelican, and I just promoted it as Old Florida. That did well.
Alyssa, that's a really nicely cropped shot, and kudos to you for knowing the proper spelling of its in this particular usage.
Oh, okay, great.
The word nerd gets a little exercised about people who don't know the rule there.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you. All right.
And overall, you had very large shoes to fill, and you're doing a fantastic job,
Okay, great. Thank you.
in my opinion.
Thank you. And then lastly, almost lastly, is Inverness. I did a nice photo post on Wallace Brooks Park that did well. The one on Instagram, that was what I call an umbrella post. And what I did was I posted about all of the like holiday happenings in Inverness. So I guess I listed like 15 things, and that did well. That was really great. And then for this one, it was just a market at the depot. We got over 1,500 views on that. And I try to promote the upcoming events all the time. I've done also Instagram stories for the walking tours, the historic walking tours in Inverness. So I just try to mix it up and hit a little bit of events, a little bit of shopping, restaurants, and of course attractions. And then here are some videos that I've done for each of the cities. I don't know, hopefully they'll play. And you'll hear the music, I'm hoping. Anyway, so I shot that from my car, and I put the music to kind of give it that old, historic flair. And then this one coming up for Homosassa. That's my favorite video that I've shot and put music to. I love that video. And then the next one is Inverness. So as Jody mentioned, there was a video theme going around on Instagram, and it was people creating videos in the Wes Anderson style of filmmaking. So that's what I did for Inverness, and it was a lot of fun. I went around and shot stuff specifically for that video. And the next video that I'm planning to do similar to that is going to be on Crystal River. So and then I'm planning to do one on Floral City and as well as Homosassa. Not in the Wes Anderson vein, but just an overall umbrella video for the city. So I just wanted to share with you, what's been going on. To be honest with you, I wanted to give this presentation since May, and so things have just come up, and the agenda's been packed. And last month I had a burn, so I had to go to the doctor. But anyway, thank you. And one thing. Sorry, I have this. Sorry. Okay, so I created this. Can you see this? Okay. Okay, so this is a little flyer that I created. We have it sitting in our walk-in visitor center. Visitors or anyone can come and use our QR codes to follow us. And the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge and Visitor Center agreed to put this in a prominent place. So it's sitting up there. But I have it today. If anybody would like to use the QR codes to follow us, please come over to me, or maybe I'll just put it on the table. But if you have any questions, you can talk to me.
Put it on the table. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. And that's it. All right, thank you.
Alyssa, and I can't ask you, but I would love to see your 4 slides on the cities go out to every elected official in the county, both cities and BOCC, so they can see the variety that you're putting out there. I think it may be enlightening to some.
Okay, I'll get with Christina on that, or?
Yeah. I mean, I can't task you. I'm not trying to task you, but I'd love to see it.
Yeah, Frank and Terry, anything we can do to start building those or rebuilding those bridges with all the government entities, my colleagues, as well as, that's an excellent point, Mike. Thank you.
Well, I got a few slides you're gonna like too. So to start off with our FAM tours that we hosted over the last couple months, or over the course of July, I should say. The first one there, Drink Tea Travel, Holly, you'll really like. We were able to coordinate with Andy over at Wright Rudder Aviation to send them on a glider tour of the county. They're very sustainability focused, and so those gliders only use 3 gallons of gas for every hour that they're up in the air. So I've really loved the opportunity, because I go to the Inverness Area Council meetings every month to coordinate with Inverness business owners. And that's really opened up the opportunity for me to work with Andy, because the Inverness Airport is so green and sustainability facing. I've absolutely loved that. I think that fits very well with our mission.
He's certainly a visionary in that area.
He's very, very fun to work with. And so actually, if you look on our Instagram page, you'll see the little thumbnail of the gliders. You can watch their video that they created on there. Alyssa accepted their collaboration, so it's easy to find on there. Southern Fork was a food writer that came in. She stayed over at the Cove in Inverness and did kind of a county-wide food tour with a focus on scalloping there. And then Florida Sportsman also came in, and we had an exciting opportunity. When I was at ICAST, I met a captain who does Chazawiska backwater tours or fishing charters, which is not something we've had the opportunity to participate in the past. And so I was able to send this editor from Florida Sportsman, which is a fine publication, on this Chaz backwater tour, and he could not say enough great things about it. Captain Doug is, again, very sustainability focused. He knows the whole history of the Chazawiska National Wildlife Refuge, and the majority of all of his charters are catch and release. So it was a really great opportunity there that we can expand upon in the future, since Florida Sportsman had such a great time. Sarah Stahl is a fishing influencer. She came, also had a wonderful time. And then Vanessa Ball was a UK-based traveler that came in her kind of tropical tour, as she called it. So she went to the Amazon after us. So those were the ones that we had in for July. And then if we review some of our PR efforts there, Mike had the opportunity. No, it's okay. We can do this one first. Don't worry.
Sorry.
I think you started last month.
Well, I think I mentioned it. I didn't quite, get to go in too much. I didn't have the stats for it either at that
Go
point.
ahead and do that while that's loading.
Yes. So, if you guys get the chance, I would recommend clicking on the link in the packet that we don't need to play it now. It's like 10 minutes long. But Mike did a great job highlighting the different mermaid opportunities in the county in conjunction with our Mercation giveaway. So he talked about the mermaid swim courses that he offers, as well as Birds offers, and then the mermaid encounter over there for the Mertailor, and a variety of things of that nature. And then as far as our reports go, based on some of the influencers, that one is, I don't know if that's mine or Brittany's. Will you scroll down just a smidge more for me?
That's the one.
Yeah, so that one's my report. So if you scroll up just a bit, sorry. So we had over 7.5 million impressions there from a variety of different sources, but a lot of that was content related. So that would be online articles. So you can scroll down for me now. My apologies. And Scott was a UK-based traveler. I had some of his shots over in Inverness on the previous TDC slides. Scroll down a little bit more. He actually got to see river otters on the Chaz, which is great. A lot of people really want to, and I feel like we've kind of found the best method of getting them to see the otters, so hopefully we can do that again in the future. Some more until we get past Scott there. See who else. We had Lindsay Frank as well. She's a mommy blogger, and so she came and did the family style travel. And keep going. And then these are the articles themselves that cover. So the one there in the middle that you'll see, 2.18 million impressions, was from the Orlando Sentinel. And so we actually sent out a PR report for for summer activities. And we did cover the 4th of July events for both cities. And Orlando Sentinel was very excited about the centennial celebration. So they sent a reporter up. And he came, chatted with Terry and I, and then as well went to the elected officials' reception and was able to talk to the mayor, as well as some other people about the history of the city of Crystal River for that centennial celebration. But it also covered the Inverness one as well. So we can pop out of that one. And we'll go on to the next page. This was exciting. I'm so sad that Jackie isn't here to see it. But we had sent out a press release regarding the Big Bass Classic over in Inverness. And it was picked up by Florida Sportsman, which is, again, a great fishing publication in the area. So we included in your packet the full article, if you look through there, and you can kind of get more details as far as to how they covered it. But that one, they have over 76,000 subscribers, so hopefully we'll see see the results of that in next year's Big Fast Classic as well. And then our highlights for the west side of the county are this top 10 Sunshine State's Best Kept Secrets article. It was somebody that we hosted here in Destination that did the top 10 article, and it got over 1.5 million views. So that was a great opportunity. And then some recent features that we wanted to highlight are Trips to Discover, which is a huge online, again, more like the top 10, that very trendy numeric list. So we did 15 natural springs to immerse yourself in. So they did that. And then we did 2 TripAdvisor features. One for 12 best animal experience, and then one for just the top 10 experiences in the U.S. So that's similar to what we got last year with Explorida. This year it was Fun to Dive that received the accolades in that one. So we've been featured in some really fantastic top tier articles in the online publications. I think that's it for me. Yeah, any other questions? All right.
Thank you. Where do we stand with all the upheaval? Where do we stand with doing a scallop workshop for the board?
Last I heard from Denise was that she was just awaiting a date to put that together. I have about a group of like 6 people lined up from the FWC to local captains, ready to go. Just we're looking for a date, I think, is what we left off at.
In reading the minutes before this, it also jogged my memory that Mike, there's 3 of you here, this Mike, Engels, brought up the idea of having, getting reports from actual captains that go out on what the real status of.
Yes.
Are we gonna do anything with that, or?
I actually have those numbers, and my apologies, just kind of slipped through the cracks in the last couple weeks, so.
Yeah,
I'll get that.
It's been a little distracting.
I will
That's why
get that
I'm here
out
to
to you
help
by the end of this week.
Be a memory.
My apologies.
No, it's fine. So we've had discussions before, Terry, that you have a plan to try to move us into destination management more than marketing.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I think that from my personal opinion, we truly live, I meant it during the prayer, we live in paradise. This is a very special place. And the more people we have overrun it, the less likely it's going to remain special. So the more we continue on that trend of not, really exploding with visitors, but the money keeps going up and up, is the better this will all be.
Yes, sir.
So, to my mind, the destination management is everything. So, and it does benefit current and very established, lodging, because your money is going up and up, right? I would think. Do you have any problem with what I just said, since y'all are both lodging?
Not at all.
Okay.
Keep them coming.
Michael, you always have a good business insight. Do you want to comment or no?
We're reaping the benefits of what we've done over the past 18, 20 months.
With your
So-
renovations and whatnot?
No,
No?
with destination marketing.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
So we will then reap the benefits of our
Management?
destination marketing or lack of in the next 18 to 20 months.
May I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I speak of destination management, moving from marketing to management, it really isn't that we're gonna spend less money marketing. We're going to move that money to people who have more money. So there'll be more money to spend, we'll need less people, we can keep their ADR up. But then we're also gonna focus on conservation, we're gonna focus on a local, live like a local campaigns, respect our nature. So it's gonna be a combination. We're not gonna spend any less marketing, we're just gonna spend it smarter. So we get, like what Ann came up with in her report, where we have the visitors are here, but they're spending more money, and it works out for everybody.
I see it as a very small shift,
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
very, very small course correction. I'm certainly not suggesting a 90-degree turn, and certainly not a 180-degree turn. It's more of okay, we're aiming this way, we just need to aim about this way. Just a couple of degrees over to the side of trying to, I'm a big believer in just trying to see into the future and making small course corrections that will benefit us going down the road. So, does that make sense?
Makes more sense. I mean, obviously, that's the first I've really heard of it, and that's the first description you've given on it, but to go off the face value of what you said,
Right, of course.
from
You can
marketing
only-
to
yeah.
management,
Yes.
then that's my
No,
initial,
that's,
somewhat educated idea of how this stuff works, but if we're gonna market to the destination management, and that creates marketing opportunities and media opportunities and whatever, that's different than just figuring out how we're gonna clean somebody's bathroom.
we sincerely don't want to see the numbers go down. That's not the point.
And
The point is to
marketing
keep.
management would
Yeah.
require that you would wanna do infrastructure changes and clean bathrooms, and so we would reap the benefit or the lack thereof, depending on what the benefit is we want. That's the other thing we gotta continue to define.
And we have a pretty narrow limitation on what we can do.
Absolutely.
Outside of marketing. So that's already, we already have guardrails on that. So we have to be very careful and strategic how we deploy any money that's not going to marketing. In terms of, bathrooms for Hunter Springs or, whatever.
I'm just
Yeah.
reliving the mitigation presentation we had the last 2 months ago. City of Crystal River presented when
Oh,
Inverness was
yes,
asking for money
yes.
to promote. City of Crystal River was asking us to mitigate.
Yes.
Yeah, and their number was what, about 50% of our annual budget or so?
Yeah. And they came in knowing that, and he kind of,
Right.
he laughed about it. He knew that he was asking for way more than he could possibly get, so. And I'm still very interested in the Whispering Pines RV. I think that would be good. And it's also showing love to the East Coast. So does anyone have, anything else to discuss?
It was good, better, and different, but the Florida Insider Fishing Report, Rick Murphy crew, Florida, sorry. Words, sorry.
I heard you say ship.
The ship that sailed. Sportsman's Adventure crew,
Sportsman's Adventure,
and
yeah.
even the Texas Insider, which is interesting, crew were here over their scalloping trip, which had a great time. Keep your eyes open, they're supposed to be tagging the destination and plantations.
They
so
have
hopefully-
actually, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few already, so they were very happy, had a great time. So yeah, they stayed with us, thank goodness, and gave us money.
All good. Very good. Dr. Desai, do you have anything?
No.
Mike?
Yeah, always.
Always? Okay.
I get a couple questions. I know it's been dynamic both on the TDC as well as the director position. Have the openings on the TDC been announced? Is there a deadline on accepting them? And, what's potential timing there? Similarly, is there a potential time frame for a permanent director, for the VCB, or is it too soon? And that's fine. That's certainly a valid answer.
So my understanding is that there are names that have been submitted. There's a list of folks for the DC positions, and that'll move through the normal course of approval.
Did we get any for the lodging one?
3.
Yeah.
Good.
We've got a good variety, I think, of folks, so that's good. Certainly, interest is high, which I think is good. No indication right now on where we are with how long I'll hold this position and what the long term is. I will say that we are under an external audit right now. We're looking at internal policies. I emailed members of the VCB board and staff. We pulled back on some of our functions and activities. The idea is not to have a major interruption, but also to provide more transparency, accountability, look at policies. Whenever you're in a situation, as we've seen over the last few weeks, and really the last few months, it's good policy to pull back, reevaluate how things are being done, and ultimately come out stronger, I think, as an organization, give the staff guidance. I believe when you don't have gray areas and you have good policies, it's easier for everybody. So I think we're making progress, even though it's been just a few weeks, and I look forward to working with the board to meet with you all individually, which that has started. But again, open to ideas and work with staff, BOCC to get some good change coming out of here.
Thanks. And you know, Frank and I had an opportunity to talk a couple of weeks ago, but I know that the Hershey trip is generally scheduled. I mentioned to Frank, I tend to go up to Pennsylvania in that time. If there's a way funds are already committed, that if TDC members or partners help staff the booth, that it fits within travel limitations, you know, to put that out. One of my potential concerns is, I don't know that conference, but many conferences, if you skip a year, you go to the bottom of the rung on your placement. So I'd hate to see us, you know, within the box, I get it. But sacrifice our positioning at shows and events coming up near term, while we regroup, and then have longer repercussions associated with it. So if there's a way we can be creative within the limitations of making some things happen on a lesser scale, I'd like to see them explored and let me know how I can help.
That's an outstanding idea. Did we already lose our spot, though? We already pulled back, yeah. Because that's a really good observation.
And it's gonna be hard to get that back. I had to pull a lot of strings to make that happen, just to even get you guys a spot. So it's gonna be hard to get one back. They got a huge waiting list every year. I go every year.
I didn't know that was already, we had already pulled the spot, or funds were obligated, or if there was a way to not be there, but still. Okay.
That was a mistake to pull that out. I understand not sending staff because we're under audit, but that's gonna hurt.
That's a big show. It's about the same size as Tampa. About 70,000 people come through there, and it's a big show. Talked to a lot of people there. Usually I drive every year because I haul a lot of my own stuff up there from my own booth and all that I advertise. So I always carry the girls' stuff with it when I go, so there's no freight involved or anything, because I haul up my own pickup truck. And we help them get set up and whatever else. But it's gonna be hard to get that spot back if you've given it up already. It's not gonna be easy to get back.
And my other point was scalp season. I wondered from the hoteliers, my anecdotal is, you know, boat traffic, number of bodies coming through was probably down 20% or so. Any thoughts on causes? I know Pasco has a longer season this year rather than the 10-day season. So did that suck away some of our Tampa visitors that decided to just drive to Pasco rather than up to Citrus County? And any thoughts on scallop season in general on your end?
Seeing this little softening over year, like everybody else, but I mean, the biggest thing for repeat coming into the next part of it will be interesting is a lot of our guests that come back in August, September are those that had a great time in July and early August. With our experience, it's hit or miss for the casual amateurs out there, but when you go with a captain or has a guide and a swimmer in the water and does all the things right, those have been relatively good, successful trips, and people come back with plenty of harvest, not overflowing limits by any stretch this year. But so we'll wait to see how it goes the rest of the year. But why? Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit longer season down south. And I don't know, I think, in general, a lot of people, I mean, look at I don't know about you guys, but look at your own Instagram and social media. Everybody that was sticking around Florida last year are now going to Alaska. They're going to Europe. They're going to New York. They're going, so that what we talked about years ago when this happened and things opened back up and people started feeling more comfortable traveling around the country and the world is coming to fruition right now. So if that's a 10 or 20% shift, then that's where we're seeing maybe the 10 or 20% shift from us as well.
Good observation.
Okay, I'm done.
You sure?
Well, don't mention anything else.
All right, moving on. Open to the public. Would anybody like to address the board?
I'm Max Schulman. I'm from Inverness. I just want to tell you how exciting the discussion I just listened to. To be honest, I'd planned to come up and talk about the need for this group to do a little more focus on future planning and particularly on sustainability. And to remind you that the three elements of sustainability, sustainable tourism, is first about economics, and y'all do a magnificent job on focusing on the business part. But it's also about protecting and presenting your culture and maintaining the environment. And the environment includes safety, and it includes a whole bunch of things that this group should be informing through the commissioner, the BOCC, on what's going on. The rate of change is going to accelerate. I just spent 8 days down in the Disney Megropolis, and God help us in the century when we get there. But in the meantime, we have got to protect what we've got. That will only happen if we are planning, and then we are synchronizing what we do with the county's other efforts, with the sheriff to make sure we've got the right trained workforce to work tourism issues, and with our environmental folks to make sure we're protecting our water and those sorts of things. But I heard the word start, and that's so exciting. So thank you for that. And I hope you will consider the possibility of having a committee under the council that looks at future planning and feeds the county input. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Anyone else? All right, we'll close open to the public. And Max, great observations as usual. I was taking notes because I want to throw that out at the BOCC meeting when I report back to them. So does anybody have anything further? All right. Next meeting is Wednesday, September 13th at 9 a.m. right here, and we are adjourned.